when it would be like, and bring in a pop song. People would literally get up and be like, scream it for me, baby! Like I'm gonna die! Do you love Drag?
River in my eyes, I got a poem in my throat. I hear the music and it takes me by surprise.
It's so fucking funny.
I'm Haley Griswold.
And I'm Jake Deaton.
And this is The Lost Lore. You never told me that. Welcome to the White Lotus.
I had to beg Haley to do this episode.
Okay, I love the White Lotus.
You do.
I love that show. I've loved it longer than you have.
That's true.
However, genius struck you and you came up with the title The White Lotus.
And I said, that's all I'm coming up with.
The
this
day
is all
after
off the cuff.
the finale. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Now that it has no relevancy whatsoever, let's do it. I do really love the show, and I know people love the show, so hopefully we don't lose cool points for talking about something when it's no longer on air, and maybe we'll just kind of be filling the void. Because people love the show.
People are missing it.
I already miss it.
Me too. I like also having something to watch every week.
Me too.
I don't want it all to drop at once. I want to think about it. You know how I am. I will go read a plot summary. Like,
Same.
if the spoilers are out there, Toy Story 3, I was in the movie theater with my phone next to my thigh as the toys were going towards the incinerator. I was like, how's this sound?
Jake, I did not know this about you. This makes me so happy. Early on in our relationship, Davis and I, for some reason, and that reason being, of course, it's Reese Witherspoon. I watch everything she's in. Mm-hmm. When Little Fires Everywhere came out, the first episode came out, it's COVID. I have nothing but time to think. And I was like, oh, I won't be waiting next week on this one. So I looked up the plot summary of the book, and I remember Davis looking over my shoulder and being so disappointed and upset with me.
That's the same way.
Because he was like, why? Just wait.
And then sometimes I read it and I don't tell Matt I read it, and I figure out the show. I'm like, and he doesn't even know this. And he'll be like, you're so good at predicting the writers.
You know what, Jake? Confession, there's been a time or two when I just happen to.
But you have to sell it. You have to
it.
You have to give like a little bit of an incorrect one, but get the gist of it,
yes.
And you're like, wow, you really get TV writing. And I'm like, wow.
My favorite though are when I don't look it up and it's a show that he really wants me to watch, and I can just sort of predict what's going to happen, and I predict it before, and that shuts it up, and I'm out of it. I don't have to watch the show now. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you
know what I mean.
And
right?
I would have done that for the White Lotus, but I like that it unravels every week. And it's actually something that I take the trouble to watch live. There were moments of us wanting to record this podcast, and I was like, I can't. Sunday night, baby.
I know. You were like, there's no possible way.
Which is your favorite season?
I like the seasons in the order they came out. I like 1, 2, and 3.
Really? So,
but I don't want it to sound like I drastically dislike 3 to 1. I just really loved 1, and I really loved 2, and I really loved 3. It's hard, okay, because season 3, I love that Southern family.
Me too. Oh, that was made for us.
That was made for us. Piper.
Piper, no.
I'm praying to God that Piper hates that monastery.
That's how...
She needs to fear poverty, Tim.
I've seen my future and it is bright. When he's like, but you'd be okay if we lost everything. I don't know, Tim. I don't think I was meant to live an uncomfortable life.
No.
My grandparents, who we talked about in the last episode, are also doomsday preppers. Can't believe that didn't come up. My mom was talking to me about how prepared they would be for the end times. If society starts collapsing, I don't want to live through that. My mom was like, yeah, we pulled out a bunch of cash just in case all the banks go down. If I get a notification that the banks are down...
Fetch the poisonous fruit in a blender.
Yes,
I'm out of here.
I'm making margaritas! And we're going to turn on Taylor Swift, and we're going to have a little party.
We're going to go. I feel like we're dressed... I tried to go for the, like, I'm checking in, but I do think we both look like we're on
running the front desk.
We're on our 15 minutes. Hey, I wanted to go back because you asked about my favorite one, and I want to know yours as well. But the reason 3 is special because of the Southern family.
Yes.
But Jennifer Coolidge delivers in season 1 in a way that she still delivers in season 2, but season 1, just she comes out of the gate and you're like, whoa, what is this show? I'm going to watch every season that comes out now because of her.
Isn't it amazing that it gave her this whole career renaissance where people were like, she's actually extremely talented and we need to like not sleep on it.
And it does, like, I don't even want to get into an overly preachy place right off the bat, but it is like, why? Jennifer Coolidge should have ever, she should have never wanted
What's
for
your
work.
most favorite Jennifer Coolidge role? Matt and I discussed this the other night and we had a different answer.
Can I guess what each of you said?
Yeah.
My guess for Matt is that one movie from the 90s.
American Pie?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
And my
Stifler's
guess
mom.
for you
There's only one
is
answer.
Cinderella Story.
No. The bend and snap works every time.
I should have known your musical theater ass Legally Blonde. I should have known.
What she got that you ain't got? 3 tits. I love that line.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
A Cinderella Story stuck with me.
Never seen
What? Jake, you would be laughing out loud, like
Is it funny?
hysterically,
Who is she?
hysterically laughing. She's the evil stepmother.
Okay, we gotta watch.
Yeah, I won't say anything else. But A Cinderella Story is such a good movie. So season 1 is just, I loved because of Jennifer Coolidge's performance out of the gate.
Yeah.
Murray Bartlett, who plays the hotel manager.
He killed it.
He killed it.
Imagine like the way that I would just be over the moon if I read my script and it said take a shit in a suitcase. I would be like, can we film that first?
We wouldn't be able to do it first because you wouldn't come back after that. What's your favorite season?
I love season 2.
I'm so sorry, Jake. As your friend, like, it was really wrong of me to not come into this White Lotus episode and tell you to just immediately take your 10 minutes and go off on Theo James.
When I tell you, Celebrity Crush was a weak, puny, not suitable way to describe the way that I feel about Theo James. I like it's filthy. Turn away if you don't have a stomach for this sort of thing. I want him to spit in my mouth.
Turned away.
I want him to call me names. I want him to call me homophobic slurs. I want him to, in front of other people, humiliate me in like a public setting, and then to get a text to be like, meet me upstairs in 10 minutes. I want him to put a bag over my head. I want him.
You want him to degrade you.
I want him to be like, you got to use the staff elevator.
Oh, you want him in the context of you working at the White Lotus.
Yes. Even if I'm a guest, I'll pretend I'm working there. I'll serve him. He would be like, you're going to go put on a uniform. I'm a guest. Pretend I'm in like the presidential suite. He'd be like, go put on your uniform. Go get me a drink. Like, I would spend all day being his butler, basically, and then when the time comes, I'll provide for those needs as well.
Since you liked season 2, what did you think about the Italian family? The
3 generations.
The 3 generations of guys. Like that son?
Oh, he's fine, but his character was so that little liberal pussy. He ain't humiliating me.
Get help! Seriously, quickly, rapidly.
Oh, Haley, I see the boat on the horizon. The guests are arriving.
Thank you for arriving at our Patreon. You've reached your destination.
And it's really worth it. I mean, you get a lot more content. You get the full video episodes, which you really should be watching this. We dress up every single week. Like, there's a lot of visual humor as well.
And can you believe how cheap their stay will be?
$3
per month. That's it. Please join our Patreon, fellas. Thank you. But you know about Mike White, the guy who created it.
Yes. School of Rock, right?
And Survivor.
Yes, I didn't know that until you told me.
So apparently he got the idea for White Lotus when he was on Survivor. So for anyone who doesn't know this, I'm just going to do a little history, very, very much like treat this as you should have treated Wikipedia in 2003 when we were doing papers as kids. You know, like these could be wrong facts. But from what I remember and what I know, he wrote School of Rock. He is the Ned Schneebly in School of Rock.
That's so crazy to me.
Who Jack Black is pretending to be. He's the roommate. Then he was on season 37 of Survivor.
How many seasons of this show are there?
Right now they're on season 48.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're getting close to the 50th season, which
we'll be on.
I would genuinely love to be on Survivor.
Haley would be great on Survivor.
He was on Survivor, and do you kind of know what Survivor is?
Yeah.
Ish, like you know that
we used to watch when I was a kid.
Oh, you know it.
My childhood doctor's son was on.
Oh, cool.
So we watched that season when I was little.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you know that it's they live outside and they vote each other out. The season that Mike White was on was season 37, David versus Goliath, which they don't really do themes like that anymore. But it was like the underdog team versus this like really strong team. And at the tribal council at the end, when they're voting someone out, there was this woman named Angelina who actually makes a cameo in the White Lotus.
No way.
And she was saying how we know for sure we're going to vote out this woman named Natalie. And I know Natalie has a jacket. And so when she leaves, like, I'm going to fluff her ego and we're going to vote her out. And when she leaves, I'm going to have her leave me her jacket, because it was like raining every day. They were freezing, whatever.
You want to be on this show?
And it's the $1 million at the end. Anyway, they vote out Natalie. And as Natalie is leaving, Angelina's like, Natalie, Natalie, Natalie. And this woman refuses to look back at her. Like, doesn't say a word, says nothing,
Queen.
just walks out of Survivor. And apparently, legend has it that that's the moment Mike White thought of the idea of White Lotus.
That's so interesting.
And so Natalie also made a cameo in the White Lotus. So both Natalie and Angelina have been in it. Angelina was in season 1. I think it's the first episode where they, like, you know how every season they tease that there's been a death? They're the two women on the beach, like, reacting.
Oh, wow.
Talking to the... No,
That's so cool.
Excuse me. It was season 2. Season 2, she's talking to Megan
Talking to
Fahey,
Daphne, yeah.
Daphne's character.
One of my favorite characters.
She
in
was
all of White
awesome,
Lotus.
so beautiful too, and talented and funny and hilarious. Angelina is one of the two women talking to
to her.
Daphne when they see it happen. And there was, I don't know where I heard this too, but Mike White said that, like, he had to tell Angelina, like, you don't know these people. Like, you don't need to have that big of a reaction to seeing a dead body. Like, this isn't your personal family that we're reacting to. Because she was delivering about
Sobbing.
his body being whatever.
That's so funny.
Although if I had the info that she did, that it was Jennifer Coolidge, I'd be sobbing, self-drowning. Like, yeah. And then in this past season, season 3, Belinda notices this wealthy couple sit down at dinner.
And they make eye contact.
That's Natalie.
That's crazy.
So I also I love
So this is our route to the White Lotus. Season 50 of Survivor.
Season 50 of Survivor.
Season 5 of White Lotus.
That's
or whatever
brilliant.
it'll be.
Survivor opens up with them arriving on
Via boat, right?
Via boat. And so every season of White Lotus is them entering on a boat and leaving on a boat, like on Survivor. So there are all of these things that he pulled from that show, including the music. Survivor... Exactly. Survivor has all these, like, tribally sounds, and
I love the music in the White Lotus.
White Lotus, like, borrows that.
It does.
And another show that it borrows from is The Real Housewives. There was a scene in this past season, and it borrows this little sound that they use all the time in The Real Housewives whenever a reveal happens, where it's like, sing. And I'm going to put it in. I think that this show is so highbrow and it's so coastal elitist, but it borrows from these
kind of lower
brow things that actually are not lowbrow.
Right.
The Real Housewives is not lowbrow. Survivor, a show that is about gaming other people, is not lowbrow.
That's actually a really interesting perspective. It takes the same thing and repackages it in a way that elitists can feel elite about.
Yeah. And
I'm like, you're watching brothers jerk each other off. How elite is that? White Lotus is so good at those sort of, like, uncomfortable, complex relationships. Do you know what scene I loved in season 3 that reminded me of that?
What?
When Kate, the Trump voter, goes up to the lorazepam mom, Parker Posey, and she says, you know, oh, I saw you at a baby shower. And Parker Posey is so cold to her, just like, get away from my fucking table. Like, the level of, like, the uncomfortableness and the weird social dynamics, I feel like that show just nails.
It nails it. The thing that was nailed in that encounter is that, you know, when you live in New York as a transplant, you are shitted on for not being from New York. But it's the same in the South.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't know what happened there between these ladies, but
She's
you
like, you're
know
not a real Southerner,
that Victoria Radcliffe is a Southern woman. I don't know who the fuck this bitch is. From Austin, you said? Austin, is that her husband? I have no idea who she is.
People feel that way, even if she was a native Texan. People feel that way about Texas and the rest of the South. I'm not saying that Texas isn't Southern, but it's its own thing. Like, where I'm like, Panhandle of Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Alabama, that's different. That's like, in my opinion, that's like the real South. Where even if this woman was a Texan native, I'm like, Texas is its own animal.
Because it's huge.
Yeah, it's enormous.
It's huge.
And they have their kind of their own culture.
I was going to say, and it's lawless. They live different over there. They do. My friend Juliana is living in Texas and is the happiest she's ever been. And I'm like, 'cause you're a girl without rules. You like to be bad.
You want to shoot in the sky.
Just to let your husband know you're home.
But you know,
one thing about Texas, though, I remember learning about this when I was when you're a girl and you're 10 and you live in the Panhandle of Florida, you are going to get an obsession with true crime. And so when I learned about the heat of passion, how you can commit a crime in the heat of passion.
In the heat of the moment. Mm-hmm.
Whenever you catch your no good cheating husband with that hussy down the street.
With your best friend, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I completely am with that one. Yeah.
You would too.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody would do a crime of passion, it would be you.
Yeah. And we'll leave it there.
There was something that she said that made me think of you.
What?
And it wasn't even her. It was Jacqueline. She said, that other people see me and judge me for all these like superficial, silly things about myself. You see me and judge me for the real shit that I've done. And I was like, but you still love me anyway. Like, and that's that moment. That type of friendship feels so powerful to me. I'm like, you do know all my bad shit. You know the real bad shit. Like, you don't know the silly shit I do on the internet. You don't know the things that people like judge me superficially for. You know the actual bad stuff that I've done.
And vice versa.
You're still my friend.
It is true. That is such a true and powerful thing. I feel that way about you as well.
One of my favorite things about this show is that it will take you into weird waters, like things that you wouldn't see elsewhere on TV, and have kind of weird, uncomfortable resolution. Like, this talk about Daphne in season 2 and like that couple storyline, it's like they literally fucked each other's spouses.
Yeah.
Like, and then the scene when like Aubrey Plaza and her husband go to dinner and they're going to sit down by themselves. And then the other couple's like, why are you guys sitting by yourselves? Like, come over and sit with us. And what gets me even more, you talk about that opening scene where she finds the dead body on the beach and she's talking to those two girls who I now know as like a celebrity cameo. I rewatched that scene recently after having watched the season, and it made it feel so different because they're like, did you have a good time? And Daphne so genuinely says yes. She's like, we had a great time. It was such a good trip. We had so much fun. You guys are going to have a blast. And they did. The lessons that show teaches me, sometimes it's okay if your best friend fucks your wife. Sometimes it's okay if you fuck your best friend's wife. Like, you just got to move on.
That's the lesson, yeah.
You just got to move on.
That's the lesson.
Don't you think that it's kind of unafraid to have these sort of like weird resolutions that like we have these expectations about how we're supposed to handle every situation, but that's not how our relationships usually end up working out. It's like we have all these other competing priorities of like, we're such close friends, like we mean so much to each other, like maybe we do something really wrong or weird to the other, but we forgive each other. I actually think it's a beautiful story about forgiveness and tolerance that they cheated on their spouses with each other and just said, we'll call it even.
Yeah, sure. I think that is the major kudos to the show, is that the reality is most people don't have the knockdown drag out where they say you fucked my husband.
It's murky.
It is a murky passive aggression that leads into season 3 where Parker Posey just politely says, get away from me, to the lady, to the Austin lady, because that is how life is. You don't actually usually tell people how you feel about them.
And sometimes you may have weird contradictory feelings.
You do, right.
Like, where maybe you love them,
think
maybe you hate
about Aubrey
them.
Plaza. I believed that character hated Theo James.
And then she wanted, and I don't blame
and who
you,
can
girl.
blame her?
Who can blame her? She was probably
how
like,
hot he
spit
is.
right here.
Shut up, you're sick. You said that your mother and grandmother listened to this program.
And they're probably saying the same thing. I've seen what my mom reads on Kindle.
Your mom made me laugh so hard one time. I was like, what are you reading, girl? And she's like, smut.
Queen.
She goes, smut. All I read is smut.
I can read 5 a week.
No, she told me that she finishes a book a day. So 7. Except Sunday. I take Sundays off. I do. I pick up the good book on Sunday. And then Monday comes back.
What to you is your favorite, like, I can't believe they covered this?
Let me think.
Because there's some weird shit in this show.
Well, I mean, the incest thing this season is really going there. I mean, I would say that that's a pretty...
Other than Game of Thrones, like, where do you see that on TV?
You don't.
You know, they hinted at it in the first episode. Did you think they were actually going to take it there?
I guess what I love about the show is that he poses these hypotheticals like that in the first episode, and
Like,
you realize
could.
how sick you are
That you
when you
think it.
start guessing the things. Because I was like, no, actually he's gonna have sex with his sister. That was my.
You know what I thought? I thought he was gonna have sex with both of them.
I thought that it was gonna be a big family thing. Like, so then it's this gross thing where I was like, Tam, come
where's your Viagra? Can you mix Viagra and Lazapam? We should be on the White Lotus. They should write up for us. And one of us would kill the other by the end of the week.
I would love to be on this show.
too.
I really do want to do Survivor. It's one of those things of the girl in me who loved the tug of war at PE and who just wants to win and get a strike at the bowling alley. Really, really, that piece of me wants to go on Survivor. But come on. Where's the degree from, sweetheart?
I want to act.
I want to pretend to be suffering. I don't want to
What sort
actually
of person
suffer.
would you want to play? Would you want to play a guest? Would you want to play a local, a staff member?
Okay. I love taking everything you ask me like really seriously.
No, I'm about to take this as
So
serious as a
seriously.
fucking heart attack.
Because this is the thing. My whole life, all I've ever wanted, my dream roles are middle-aged women roles. Connie Britton in season 1, Jennifer Coolidge in season 1, Victoria Radcliffe. I would love to play her, but obviously I'm going to have to wait 20 years before I get the chance. So
or more.
yeah.
I mean, you like
And
Babyface.
Portia, remember her assistant?
Yes, of course.
I don't want that role.
No,
I don't want to be the assistant.
Ugh.
So it's hard because I'm not well represented within the show to say who I'd be. It's like I guess I'd be the girl who has sex with the lady up front and can has the
What, lesbian?
yeah. Oh.
Interesting. That's a more fun game. Let's cast each other in existing White Lotus roles in every season.
Season 1, we can both cast you all on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Armand.
Armand. I mean, but like with my current age.
No, Jake. Season 1. You play that asshole newlywed.
I wish. Do you think that I'm not buff enough to play something like that?
They HBO budget, honey.
Oh, true. Trainer.
You could play
trainer.
that mom. Mom, we are supposed to be in the nicer suite, mom.
In terms of who I would love to play, the asshole guy would be my number one for sure. Like, I feel like I could just channel so many people that I've met in real life.
Mine honestly would be that dad with testicular cancer. Like
Really
if you
push
could,
yourself.
if I could push myself, like he's so funny.
prosthetic.
He's hilarious. I would play him.
I think you would have devoured Sydney Sweeney's role.
Yeah, I would. It would be fun to do
Either
that.
of the girls you would really kill.
And then season 2.
I feel you would do really well in like several of these season 2 roles. I think that the couples are too old for us. They're like kind of giving middle age, like multiple children, don't you think? Or like early middle age.
Who?
Like
Aubrey
Theo James
Plaza
and Aubrey
then?
Plaza. They're a little old.
Yeah, didn't they have kids at home?
Yeah.
But that would be the obvious one, right? Like
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza.
You have a similar energy.
I would love if you and I could play Aubrey Plaza and her husband.
But he's also gay.
Yeah,
and that's
let's
the
add that.
plot. That's
Let's
our
add
White
that,
Lotus
add
plot.
that, yeah,
That's our
married.
unique White Lotus plot.
We're
like season 5,
married.
we're a married couple and we're both secretly gay.
Oh my God, fine.
But you would kill. I mean, I know they're the young girl roles, but you would be great as the Italian hookers. You would
That'd
be
be
great.
fun.
And those were my favorite roles in that season. I loved them.
Did you?
I think, unfortunately, I would be the young guy that got scammed by the
Yes.
Italian hooker.
Yes. I love that we're
always
together.
meeting each other
Yes. I would also play your wife in season 1 too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that would be
definitely.
fun. Who leaves you in the end and just
You
like,
would actually
I'd
do
like to
great.
just make $50 actually. I don't want to be with my rich husband anymore.
But then she comes crawling back at the airport.
She does.
She does. And that's us.
See how I let that go
That's
in my
Haley
mind?
cutting off our friendship every 3 months. And then
Hey, I usually give you 6. Then season 3.
we have to both be
obviously,
in the Southern family,
Of course,
right? We're the brother and the sister.
I want to be the mom.
I know.
I want to take my pills, Tim. I do.
Wouldn't that be great if he was just like, I'm going to take a risk and I'm just going to do heavy makeup on you both and you're going to play Tim and Victoria Radcliffe.
That would be so fun. I love
But I
them.
think we would make a good Piper and Lachlan.
Do you remember when we were in college and we did that
I
scene
know a
as a
story you're gonna
couple?
tell. Yeah, of course.
It was called an open scene where,
We got these like very bare bones sides.
it's like, hi, how are you? How are you? Good. You? Let's go to the party. I don't want to go tonight.
like
Okay,
very
fine.
basic.
I'm
Could
gonna
play
go
it a
anyway.
million ways.
And it's like,
That's actually almost word for word what the scene was. I'm really impressed that you still remember
and
that.
it was like, we were playing a couple in a dead relationship. That's the note. You're a couple in a dead relationship. The police were called. A domestic violence case was opened. We had to mutually write up the other, and then we just agreed to not press charges and go home together to our children and
And
cats.
this was all conveyed in how are you? How are you? I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm gonna go to the party anyway. That was so fun.
I would love that. Would be my actor dream. Like if I ever did go back to acting in some degree, White Lotus would be my number one dream.
I heard that they might do a New York one. I would love to be in New York White Lotus.
Oh my God. We should
be in New York White
We should be
Lotus.
2 NYU students fucking people at the hotel. Like the new version of those Italian girls.
He's gonna hear this and be like, by the way, me laughing, being like, Mike White is gonna hear this. But like, he's gonna hear this and he's gonna be like, you said you'd work. So do you guys mind do sort of craft services stuff? Do you get us our coffees and what have you?
Where
Jake's
better?
Like, another shitting in a suitcase scene, please, sir.
I'm like, is Theo James around? But who could possibly be better White Lotus either guests or drop or like party crashers than NYU fucking students? That this show is making fun of everyone who's ever gone to NYU.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes. White Lotus would be such a dream. We're manifesting it right here, right
are.
now. And we already have, hey, no need for costuming. We've got it covered.
What would you want our location to be?
New York would be number one.
New York, really? I'll take the Four Seasons.
You're
Bora
right.
Bora.
You're right. You're so right. Okay, that's so true. That's so true. But you've been reading about all this cast drama.
Yes.
How it's been like month.
And
It was 6
Jason
months.
Isaacs is the number one perpetrator of the drama. And now, did you read what he just said? He literally dropping drama after drama. He was like, "This is no one's business."
Why are you in our business?
That's
You're
me.
never gonna know.
That's me on the press tour for the White Lotus.
That's so you. It's so you.
Do you think that? But I think that we would come out clean.
Our friendship?
I mean, with the other, of course, our friendship, but with the other actors.
What does it say that you're like, of course, our friendship, and that
And
was
you're
the
like,
first thing
"Our
I questioned?
friendship?" No, I mean, our friendship would end 3 times during filming, but it would always come back.
Of course.
If we were cast and you got to pick where it was, you're fully in charge.
I want it to be somewhere ocean tropical-y, right?
I actually think I would fuck with a season in the Alps in winter. Like, I think that like a ski season.
But you have to be realistic of like 6 months
True. I forget it's that long.
of snow.
That you're right.
I don't want to do that. That's why I'm saying tropical is the vibe for me.
Maybe like Australia, New Zealand, like
that
Bora
could be
Bora.
fun, yeah.
Like so many cool options.
Japan. How did we not say Japan?
Let's do White Lotus Japan. That's our
Because you
season.
know their underground sex scene is crazy in Japan. Mike White, get creative.
I think our plot. Neither of us know that the other like secret, like that we're secret lesbian gay man and sex freaks. And then in the but I think that we find out over the course of the season, and then maybe we have like a sexual experience together, like an orgy or something, and then we decide to stay together.
And I'm like, holy shit, I experienced ecstasy with my gay husband.
Yeah, and we stay together.
And we stay together, of course. That's the most important thing to you. You've said that before.
And the last episode, the last shot of the episode is you looking at a pregnancy test, like.
And it's me uploading it to our YouTube family vlog channel.
And we're on our way home to Utah.
And I'm wearing a milkmaid dress.
We have a lot going on. Very complex. Talking of like other kind of hypotheticals, Belinda in this season is paid off by the murder of Jennifer Coolidge.
And the way that they handle that is so accurate.
Yeah.
It is. You do become who...
She become the person you hate. Like she became Tanya.
You burn
Like,
the way that you were burned. Yep.
yes. How much money? Because I'm not asking whether or not you would or wouldn't. How much money would it take for you to be like, I'm going to agree to never go to the authorities about this murder, and I'm going to be complicit?
Did they settle on again?
$5 million.
That would be the minimum.
I'd ask for more.
I would say more, but the $5 million, it can't even be.
Well,
the fact that he came and said, I killed my wife, you're aware of it. Can I give you $100,000?
$100,000. 1 year of NYU tuition?
You can give me $100,000 for fucking talking to you. Like $5 million is my silence for 5 years.
$1 million a year.
And every year we
We're
come back
re-upping.
and let's reassess the contract.
And the risk is increased.
Right,
So we're going to
yeah.
have to.
And there's an inflation situation happening as well.
Now, I will say.
And we have back pay because she did die 2 years ago. So it's probably going to need me 10 to 15
That's how I
million.
feel, because I think, one, I could take advantage of him, and two, what's that Succession quote? You get $5 million. Congrats, you're the poorest rich person in America. I need it. You got 500 million. I need a little more. But in terms of the morals, 100,000, fine. The alternative is to get dragged into a hairy legal battle where I might be killed.
Wait. Say what you just said again.
In terms of the morals, I'm only asking for more because I think I can get more. It's not because I need to be bought off. I wasn't going to tell anyone anyway, but I'm going to take this as far as I can.
You're like, oh, I don't give a fuck you killed her. I want my spa.
Matt, I'm relaxing. This would require me to do something very effortful. But the thing too, when Belinda first saw him and was like, you know me, I know you. Matt and I had the exact same reaction. I would literally be on the way to the airport the second that I was out of his view, booking my ticket on my phone, like skedaddling, never thinking about it again, never talking about it again. That would be dead to me. I'm like, he killed her. What's he going to do to me? Like, would you have stayed if you were Belinda? You would have probably retroactively started targeting him.
I think that I would have been the same way as her and tried to tell someone.
Really?
And would have probably been met with that level of, hey, get over it, I have a solo performance. Remember that guy?
Yes.
Did we ever even hear him sing?
For like 5 seconds.
We never even got to see the performance. Would you go to the White Lotus? Obviously, we would never really go to somewhere where if you look it up, it says every version of this hotel,
Someone's
there's a
died
murder.
at.
But would you travel in that way of like you go somewhere and you pretty much stay at a resort?
No.
Me either.
Never.
I would never travel that way.
Matt and I talked about this the other day. I was like, I cannot believe how much time they kill at this resort.
When I travel, I want to see where I'm
stuff.
at and have experiences that aren't pool.
But a lot of people do that in real life.
I think what the White Lotus captures so well, that kind of goes into what we're talking about here, is fear. Wealthy people who can afford to go to Thailand on vacation maybe don't want to not be safe in Thailand, but they're safe at the resort, even though ironically,
They ain't safe at the resort.
But the safety of it all, like I do think in real life when people decide to resort it instead of going out and about, that part of it must be just straight up fear that of a new place, new culture, new whatever.
Yeah, new language, like the unknown.
And with the way that our world and the internet works, you can find a bad story for every situation that there is. And you do. And so
I meant you specifically.
Oh, you meant me specifically. I do. Yeah, I would never want to travel that way. I think if I was alone, that's how I would travel for sure.
That's a fair point. I mean, like, alone.
I mean, no one in the White Lotus goes alone.
I guess Tanya did in Hawaii.
That's so true. And she went crazy.
Word to the wise.
This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for staying with us at the White Lotus this
Thank
afternoon.
you so much for staying at the White Lotus. That'll be $3 on Patreon, please. Thank you for tuning in to the White Lotus. We will see you next
week.
time. She needs to fear poverty, Tim. That's my favorite line.
You never told me that.